Hello students, welcome to the lecture of Internet and Web Technologies. My name is Vishakha Jaurasya. I am Assistant Professor in the Computer Science Department of SIRT Bhopal. This is the second lecture of Unit 4. So in first lecture we have seen the basic elements and introduction of XML along with its uses and application. So in this lecture we will discuss about the document type definition and the XML schemas. So what is the need of validating a XML document? The need arises because XML is designed to carry data from one place to another place over the internet. And XML provides a feasibility for a user to define their own tags in order to make it user friendly. So when a user defines their own tags, a definition is to be provided with the particular tag so that the another end user will understand what is actually meant by that particular tag, and the meaning is to be clear on both the parties. So XML files or documents can be validated in two ways, that is by document type definition or XML schema definition. So document type definition is one way that we are going to discuss in this lecture, and XML schema definition will be discussed in another one. So what is XML document type definition? This is basically a way that describes and provides XML language precisely. Document type definition checks the vocabulary according to the grammar of the XML and the validity of structures of a XML document. And XML provide a way, both the ways to specify the document type definition. You can either provide it inside the document, or if you want, then you can also provide it outside the document. This is the basic syntax of XML DTD. It starts with doc type delimiter. Then the element is specified. This element is specified to tell the parser that the document from the specified root element is here. DTD identifier. Identifier is for the document type definition, which either provides a path to the file on the system. If your DTD is existing on your working system, that you can give the file name here, or if you are taking it from the internet, then the file's URL can be specified here. So under square brackets you can enclose a number of optional declaration that whatever you want. So DTD identifier is basically identifier for the document type definition, which may be the path to a file on the system or URL to the file on the internet if the DTD is pointing to the external path. So there are two ways in XML in which you can provide your document type definition. If it is provided inside the document, it is said to be internal DTD. If you are providing a separate document and then you are importing that text file or document into your XML document, then it is known as external DTD. So what is internal DTD? If elements are declared within the XML files, they are said to be internal DTDs. In order to refer it as internal DTD, there is an attribute that is specified in the XML declaration that must be set to yes. This declaration tells the XML document that the DTD is specified itself in the XML document. The declaration works independent of an external source. It works independent of the identical source. So this is an example where an internal DTD is shown. So here you can see it specifies the XML version, that specifies 1.0, then the encoding. Then this standalone attribute is set to yes. This standalone attribute is set to yes, and it specifies the user that the DTD is specified in this particular document only. So What is DTD? Doc type. Address is the element that is a root element of the DTD. Then you are providing a number of identifiers. So what are identifiers? Address is one identifier having attribute name, company and phone. Now you have to specify that what kind of data all these three attributes is going to take. So name is a kind of PC data, company is a kind of PC data, phone is a kind of PC data. PC data is this parsable character type data. Now you will specify your XML document body with its tag. Now address, name is a kind of parsable data and you are providing name here and you are closing the tags properly. Make sure to close the tags properly, otherwise your document will not get interpreted. So this is the example of internal DTD. Then now come on to the external DTD. So here elements are declared outside the XML file. This external file can be a particular .dtd file on your system, or you can import a valid URL from the internet source. So accessed by specifying the system attributes, which may be either the legal.dtd file or a valid URL. And a standalone attribute in this particular external DTD is to be set to no. It tells the XML document that you are importing something from the inside and you are not enough on your own. So this is the example and example code of external DTD. Here again you are specifying the versions and standalone's attribute is set to no. Now you have specified the delimiter, then the root element, then you are providing that your system contains a file named address.dtd and this file contains your whole document type definition, the structure of your definition. So your whole XML document will be validated against this particular specified file. Now we come on to the types of external document type definitions can be referred by using one of the following. First is system identifier and other one is public identifier. So system identifier enable you to specify the location of external file that contains the DTD declaration. This is the syntax of the external DTD that consists of a system identifier. Next we come on to the public identifier. Public identifier provide a mechanism to locate DTD resources. See, if you are importing some resource from the internet, you have to specify this public identifier in the form of URL. This public is a keyword that tells the browser that you are importing a DTD from internet source. So public identifier is used to identify an entry in a catalog. And public identifier can follow any format. However, a commonly used format is called formal public identifier. So that's all about the DTDs. We will discuss XML schemas in next lecture. Thank you.